Welcome into Off Air with Amy. I'm Amy Wood. Thanks for joining us today. We've got a lot to get to and a very important conversation that we're going to start things off with on the hot mic. We're pulling in the mayor of Spartanburg to talk about a recent letter that he wrote to the community. It is a powerful item. Take a look here. This is the letter from Mayor Jerome Rice to the community about gun violence. He is very concerned, and he is on Off Air with Amy today to tell us why he wrote this letter and how concerned he is. Mr. Mayor, thanks for joining us. We read your statement. It is a powerful statement. Tell us about what was the turning point that you felt this has got to go out now. I've got to say this to the community.
Amy, actually, when we heard of the death of the young man from Dorman High School, It hit. Then we hear of the other student from Dorman High School, the Kelly kid. And my wife and I actually know the family, and we attended the funeral. And so that sitting there at the funeral and I'm just thinking, what can I say? What can I do?
Right.
So got with the team here at the city, and we crafted the letter that went out, and and it's to everyone. It's to community leaders. It's to faith-based leaders. It's to mom, pop, guardians, teachers, superintendents. It's to the community that, what can we do? What can we do? The children are definitely our future, and gun violence is not their destiny.
Absolutely not. And you really talked about how we all play a role, right? Including gun owners needing to lock up their devices and not leave them in cars. Apparently, we have an issue with that, right? You've seen a lot of thefts.
We have, and I know you guys have talked with Chief Thompson, and Chief gave you the stats, but kids, some kids are breaking into cars, are just not necessarily damaging them. They're going by just to see if the door is open. And if it's open, they're going to ramble to see what you left in your car. And lo and behold, we have over 40-something citizens here in Spartanburg County that have left guns inside an unlocked car. That's not good. That's not good.
Because it gets in the wrong hands, right? And we don't know what can happen with them. And none of us wants to live with the consequences of that, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if your gun gets stolen because you left it unlocked in a car and then somebody does something horrific with it, that's a terrible thing too, right?
That's a terrible thing. That's a terrible loss. You think about the person that commits the crime. That's a loss because eventually we will get him or her. And the person that is deceased from that crime, that family will be ever impacted. And if it was my particular weapon that you got it out of my car, I mean, how would I feel? So it's just a trend that cannot become normal. And it's something that, the community, the village plays a part in to making sure we take back our community, take back our village, and making sure we're leading our children in the right direction.
And do you feel that it is more of a summertime issue than a school year issue, or is it just a constant community issue?
I feel it's a constant community issue. I think we always should be at high alert for our young people. I'm not saying that a death or things may happen all year long, but crime with our young people, we should constantly think about how we could better make Spartanburg better for everyone, and young people included. It's always, what can we do more? I just left a meeting with Park and Rec, our special events folks, and we're thinking about some things for next year. We were debriefing about Juneteenth and some of the activities that went on, but we're also thinking about an element now for our young people to be more involved. So we're a year out, but that's being proactive in a sense with Juneteenth. But right now we're reacting to this crime, and so we're still trying to figure out what do we do for those young people. Now I've talked with Jeff Stevens, superintendent of School District 7. I have a call in to Ken Kaiser, superintendent of District 6, just to have a conversation, and I say those two particular districts because they're both have city schools, but I'm sure at some point I will talk with all 7 school superintendents about Spartanburg County as a whole and our young people.
Absolutely. And of course, we're going to be getting a new sheriff, so you guys will be able to work in consort with that
Yes,
person
yes,
once they're
yes.
in place. Talk a little bit about what you also ask the community to do, like the faith-based communities. And I know you're working with the schools, but there are other pieces to the pie.
Yes, yes. I mean, the faith-based community, we have a captive audience every Sunday morning at churches. We can get the message out there. And I talk specifically about gun safety. Also, we here as the city and have several events where we had a gun buyback. PD had some extra funding that was given to the police department, and we
Hmm.
would give folks a gift card if they turned in a gun that they no longer wanted. I mean, it could have been one that was an old family heirloom or something that someone I just don't need it anymore, or what
Sure.
have you. You can turn it in with no questions asked. So from the faith-based community, from business owners to giving our kids an internship to jobs during the summer
Hmm.
months, talking to some of the athletic coaches from football and basketball, girls and boys,
Right.
having more kids participate. We're just trying to find ways to where we can engage all of our families, children and families. I'm actually talking with Dr. Booker and Spartanburg Academic Movement about a children and family council. We want a
Oh.
children council that we're working on so they can be more engaged. There's just
Hmm.
so many opportunities. And one thing I've been talking to staff about is really having a comprehensive plan for our youth in the city of Spartanburg.
And talk a little bit about moms and dads and that tough moment where you
Yeah.
have a kid who's maybe going down the wrong path, hanging out with the wrong kids. And
Yeah.
maybe you've noticed it, maybe you haven't noticed it. I mean, I know you had a message for parents about trying to grab hold of the situation and know what's
Yeah.
going on better. I mean, I've had my own issues with that. You know, we our
Yeah.
kids can get off track.
Yeah.
What is the message to parents about
I think
grabbing hold of the situation?
I mean, the message to all of us. Shay and I have raised four uh, great kids. We like to think, and there's some great kids in this community.
Absolutely.
But if you do find that a young person is getting off track, there's always mentorship programs that you can call and reach out to. I've even worked with DJJ, the Department of Juvenile Justice, where
Hmm.
if you have a kid that is just totally incorrigible, just don't want to do right any longer, is not doing what mom is asking, not doing what dad is asking, staying out, hanging out, getting involved with the wrong crowd, there's an opportunity that you can even get a kid for it being incorrigible. He just don't want to do right, and that starts before he's really caught up in the penal system. I mean, and
Right.
we don't want that for our young people, but we have to get their eyes at some point. But there are a lot of mentorship programs. There's a lot of organizations from the Divine Nine that's working with young men and young
Hmm.
women.
Yeah.
Our Spartanburg Public Police Department is working on a new program that we're grabbing young folks and getting them involved. Our Park and Rec Department, the SAIL program.
Hmm.
We're actually, kids have internships with the city, that they have a program that they get to go visit college campuses. They get to
Nice.
go around to different businesses to see how this work and that work. And they're also getting paid for it because their time
That's
is valuable.
good.
We want to
Hmm.
also let them know that their time is valuable.
Yeah.
And so we want to pay you for your time, but you're also learning something in return that may be valuable for you later on down the road.
Yeah, you talked about in here. I'm trying to get back to it, but you said basically, speaking to the young people, you are the future of Spartanburg. You are the scholars, the athletes, the builders, the dreamers. I
Yes.
know
Yes.
how much you believe in them, and the
Yes.
key is to get them to believe in themselves, right?
Correct. Correct. I can't say it enough. I had a mother that truly believed in me. I had coaches that believed in
Yeah.
me. I had mentors that believed
Mhm.
in me, and it's all because of what they did that have me in this position now to be the mayor and serve in Spartanburg in the position as mayor. But I want to give back to these young people. I want them to know that they could be the next mayor
Yep.
years down the road.
Mhm.
I want them to know that they could be the next school superintendent. They could be the next police chief or fire chief. I mean, they are truly, truly what Spartanburg is dependent on to making sure that we continue to be that city that everyone wants to be a part of.
Absolutely. Well, the moment that you had there at that funeral, I mean, had to be like a big moment. In other words, when you are faced with families that are missing a child over
Yes.
this stuff, I mean, that is the bottom line here. We're trying to save lives. Is that correct?
Amy, my mother says that it's no way that a mother should bury their child,
Mm-mm.
and
No.
I just witnessed that from Miss Woodruff, Mashire Woodruff, burying her son.
Mm.
Um, Tragic, just tragic. I was there with my wife. And also our youngest son, Javaris, who actually works for Mashahia out at the mall. So
Oh,
he has a
wow.
relationship with the
Yeah.
deceased kid. I mean, it's just heart wrenching, heartbreaking that we're burying young people. And again, this can't become the norm. It cannot become the
No.
norm that this
No.
continues to happen year after year, month after month. No, we have to stop somewhere, and it begins at home, but also with the rest of that village helping out.
Yeah.
It's the rest of us that can help.
Well, you put the call out to the village. We shall see how they respond, sir.
Yes, man. And they are responding. I have
That's
gotten
great.
several calls. I truly have, and we're just waiting. What can we do? So I have.
Were people appreciative that you said something?
Yes, yes, they truly were. I've gotten so many calls and thank you, text messages, Instagram. Folks are on social media just thanking me for saying something. But not only do I want to say something, I want to do something.
Right, right,
And
right.
that's one thing we say as well. If anyone that's listening to this, if you see something, you say something. If something is happening in your community, in your surrounding, call 911. If you don't think it's an emergency, but you still would
Right.
like them to get the word out, call 594 2222.
Okay.
594 That is our non-emergency number, but you still think it's something that needs to be addressed. And again, I cannot say it enough. If you see something, we want you to say something. So in turn, we can do something about it.
Absolutely. Keep the community safe. And, the Chamber of Commerce may not love to have everyone talking about gun violence, but at the same time, if you want the community to be great, you
Yeah,
have to say
yeah,
something.
yeah. I tell you, you mentioned one Spartanburg, our chamber here. Alan Smith doesn't mind one bit because
Good.
he wants Spartanburg to be that safe
Yeah.
place, so
Yeah.
we can continue to attract those businesses. We still can continue to attract families and
Sure.
making it a place that his children grow up in.
Yeah, and I wasn't talking about him, but
No,
just in
no,
general. The
I
Chamber of
know, I know,
Commerce always wants everything rosy and
I
happy, and everything isn't always rosy and happy. And I'm
yeah,
glad that
I
you are
understand.
speaking
I
up. I
understand.
appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir,
yeah.
very much for your time, and good luck with everything as you move forward.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you for the opportunity to say a few more words about it.
And our thanks to the mayor of Spartanburg for speaking with us. I do want to point out this story about the gun violence and his concerns are on WSPA.com. We did a great in depth interview with the chief of police. Our Lauren Miller spoke with him and dug into the numbers on the thefts and this problem of gun violence. So make sure you check that out. It's on our website. We also have more can't miss material. Can't Miss on WSPA.com is one of my favorite things that we do because we have got so much stuff to show you that you'll want to check out on WSPA.com. We're going to start things off with this problem. A measles case in the upstate. This has happened in the upstate, but they're not defining that any clearer. So we don't know which community. Health officials say they're not going to do that. But they are saying this person has isolated themselves at home, wherever that might be. And they say this person traveled overseas. So they got this overseas, brought it back to the US, and health officials say the person is unvaccinated. So, again, keep in mind this is something you can prevent, according to health officials, with a vaccination. So they do say make sure you have all your measles stuff up to date. It's important to kind of prevent the spread of this. This is something once eradicated that has started to pop back up in communities around the country. Also on WSPA.com, we've got this public forum that is set for the sheriff's race. And we've talked a lot about the sheriff's race. There are so many candidates. There are 9 people running to be the next sheriff in Spartanburg County. And there's a public forum happening on a Friday night. But don't worry, if you can't get there, 7 News will have a reporter in the room and we will be covering this. This is something organized by the Republican Party. They're choosing the questions, the key ones they think all of these candidates need to answer so that the public knows who to choose, kind of thing. They are going to tackle the key issues, according to the chairman of the Republican Party. So make sure you check that out on WSPA.com. We will have the recap there and all the information. You can see all the candidates there as well. We've also got some great information about the presidential race starting 6 months into President Trump's term. It's kind of crazy, but he's not a declared candidate by any means, but Governor Gavin Newsom of California was in Pickens County and Lawrence County talking to local voters about his concerns about where the country's headed. He is in the state talking to Democrats, and it was fascinating to see the crowds that turned out and also the protesters that turned out. You know, if you remember, Pickens County is where President Trump launched his bid for the office again, and it was his big first rally, and it was so packed. There were tens of thousands of people. We covered it in depth for you back then. But anyway, it's interesting that he chose to go right there where the current president, went as well to try to reach voters on the other side. So we shall see what happens with that. Again, he is not a declared candidate. He is just somebody out there exploring the area and pushing involvement in the Democratic Party for those who would like an alternative. All right, so that's interesting as well. And then we have something positive. We've got a great story about the Beacon. It's a big restaurant in Spartanburg, fast food chain, but they've got not a chain, but a fast food place, an iconic one where all the political candidates over the years have gone. We've had all the big names come through there over the years. And it is a sort of town hall kind of environment. Like you can go around the tables there and get a sense of what people in our area are thinking, you know? You get people from all walks of life. It's been around, again, 80 years, and they celebrated with a launch of a new Coca-Cola brand partnership. So they're doing Coca-Cola based drinks now there. But then that begged the question, like, what about the sweet tea? Because they are famous for their sweet tea. In fact, they've always claimed that they serve more sweet tea in that restaurant than anywhere in the nation. At least they used to. I don't know if it's still true, but I got to tell you, their sweet tea is very good, very sugary. And I think they have statistics about how much sugar they put in it. It's crazy. Anyway, I called. I was like, okay, I know you have a partnership with Coke, but what about the sweet tea? And they're like, don't worry, sweet tea is still on the menu at the Beacon. So check out the story. It's really great to see them celebrating. You know, they've had changes in ownership over the years, but they've somehow managed to keep that thing going. It is just an iconic Spartanburg spot. When we come back today, I've got something good. You guys are talking to me in the streets. Plus, I've got something about a 100-year plant. Stick around for that. Welcome back into Something Good. I'm Amy Wood. We're so glad you are with us for the show today. You know, I had this story come to me from one of you. A viewer sent me a picture of somebody's plant. And I don't want to put it up because I don't want to have everybody showing up in their yard. But it's a plant in the Campobello and Boiling Springs area, that kind of vicinity, northern Spartanburg County. And it is this very unique plant. And she said, it's a 100-year plant. And I said, wait a minute, never heard of this. Really? It only blooms every 100 years? And she was like, that's what I've heard. So I pulled in the experts on this. I wanted to hear from Clemson Extension. Is this really a 100-year plant? Because they're very unique. And to learn more, we're going to go and talk to our friend at Clemson, Cory Tanner, who actually had one of these plants show up at his house. So we're going to show you some of the pictures of that as well. Here is Cory with Something Good. All right, so we've got the experts from Clemson to help us understand what's going on. And I know you personally had one of these 100-year plants at your place. And now I've got a viewer sending me in one in the Boiling Springs area. They drove by it and said, "This is a 100-year plant. You should do a story on this." But they really aren't 100-year plants. Explain this to us.
Yeah, so this happens every summer in South Carolina where we get a few agaves. That's the scientific name for this particular type of plant. There are several different species, but only a few that can survive the winters in South Carolina. They're more of a desert plant, native to warmer climates like Arizona and Mexico. But every summer we have a few around the state that bloom, and yeah, century plant is a little bit of an exaggeration. It does take them a long time to bloom from a seedling. But in our climate, we generally find somewhere in the 10 to 15 year range for most plants is kind of the average, just kind of depending on the growing conditions.
But it is pretty remarkable, right? I mean, you wait this 10 or 15-year period, and then suddenly you have this bloom.
That's right. Well, I mean, even without the bloom, these are impressive plants. They're very large. They're not technically cactus, but they look, you call them a cactus. But they have spiny leaves, these very large, impressive spiny leaves, and just overall a dramatic plant. But it really kicks into overdrive when they bloom. You get these massive 15 to 20 foot tall stalks. It starts out looking like a giant asparagus spear.
Wow.
They actually are in the asparagus family, which is interesting. But then that spike, that spear, kind of bursts open into this massive bloom display.
And so there's bunches of blooms. We have some pictures that we'll put up. Talk about the fact that, yes, once this happens, it dies, but it does send out, offshoots or something that you could plant and sort of wait another 10 or 15 years for?
That's right. Yeah, these plants, the bloom is their last hurrah. They put all their energy over that 10, 15, 20-year period into that massive bloom at the end in hopes of producing seed. Because we don't have many of these plants in our area, we don't often get viable seed produced because they need to be cross-pollinated. So usually the flower display just ends the life cycle of that specific plant, but then you get clones that we call pumps, which are offsets from the mother plant that can be, either left to grow where they are and repeat the cycle all over again, or you can dig those up and move them or share them with friends and family.
Well, very cool. Well, thank you for helping us understand and put into perspective what a 100-year plant really is.
Sure, it's my pleasure.
Wow, that was cool, right? I mean, they look kind of like a big artichoke, and then it just grows and grows. So interesting. But yeah, sometimes they just, because of not getting cross-pollinated, that's just the end of it. It's sad, but interesting. But again, it's not 100 years. I know everyone calls it that, but apparently it's not. All right, so something good, right? You guys love it when I go out on the streets and talk to you. And that's the thing about doing something good is you guys always have the brightest moments, and it's the simple stuff, right? I mean, we know the world's heavy. There's a lot going on. It weighs you down sometimes. But when you actually take a micro look at your own life and think about some of the things you're really happy about, it really does make a difference. So let's see what you guys are saying. I'm pulling you in for something good. Tell me something good.
I just got to have lunch with one of my sweet friends at El Paso Tacos and Tequilas, and it was delicious. And we had a nice, relaxing walk downtown, and then stopped at the bookstore, Hub City Books.
That bookstore is great, right?
It is.
In Spartanburg, Summer League holds a special place in my heart because I coach the high school team.
Oh, wow.
So, yes, so please go out and hang out in your communities and swim this summer.
And show up and support the team.
Exactly. Yes,
right?
for sure.
Oh, man, this is a hard role for parents too, right?
Yes, because the parents do all the working, they do all the volunteering, they give all the snacks, they provide all the everything. So yes, parents are big stars in swimming.
Tell me something good.
I'm about to go on a beach vacation with some of my friends. I'm really pumped about that.
Something good is so far I've been to 6 Spartanburger games and I've seen 4 wins.
Yes!
And I've been really proud to go out there and support our burgers.
Oh my gosh, go Burgers! I love the Burgers fans, right? People are having a great time buying the merch, going to the games, seeing friends and local people. So enjoying the new Spartanburg Stadium. Well, thanks for watching 7 News, and we will, of course, see you on the air with all the newscasts. I hope you'll be watching soon, and I will see you with another edition of Off Air with Amy next week. Have a great day or night.
There's something comforting about experience. It prepares you, makes you wiser, ready for anything. That's why 3 decades later, I still love to keep you informed. Your trust is everything.
Watch Amy Wood on 7 News. Weekdays at 4, 5, and 6 p.m.
We want to get to that immediately.